Imagine a life-changing injury. Imagine the fear and unknown. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team, the only physicians in the area with advanced certification in orthopedic sports medicine, treats sports injuries with innovative techniques. The Houston Clinic has helped nearly 1 million athletes live without pain. Imagine getting back in the game. Imagine the best game of your life. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team.
Hi, I'm Matt Sapp, inviting you to come see us at Dexter Meat Company. For fresh hand-cut meats, try our St. Louis ribs or our seasoned ribs. If you like sausage, you'll love our original, our Cajun sausage, or try our jalapeno cheddar, smoked, or ghost pepper cheddar sausage. That sure enough is hot. Our pork selection includes cubed pork, boneless chops, Boston butts, and more. We invite all our neighbors to come see us for the freshest cut of meat. Remember, we cater to. Call ahead and we'll have it fixed for you. Monday through Friday, 10 to 7, Saturday, 8 to 6.
Hello, this is Andy Cullins at Cullins Supply. You can mow with an attitude. It's our legacy, the driving force behind every mower. It's a promise to every bad boy mower owner, and we offer powerful mowing performance across our entire mower lineup. And we do it all for mowing pros and demanding homeowners just like you. It takes brains and brawn to build a mower as regularly, simple to operate, and easy to maintain, and provide the best value as a bad boy mower. Overbuilt and over horsepowered, since the very beginning, our mowers represent the best in delivering classic American muscle. We continue to improve the process of building and innovating our mowers so that every single one is delivered to you ready to mow with an attitude. Visit us at Cullins Supply and Engine Service at 910 East Jackson Street in Dublin or 826 South Harris Street in Sandersville.
Hi, I'm Kyle Gerard with A+ Garage and Overhead Doors. We're excited to announce our new company that we've started. We can provide for all your industrial and residential garage door needs. We can sell you new ones. We can also service the ones that you have. We're a complete dealer of all garage and industrial door needs. So give us a call at 478-676-2661 or come see us at 371 Georgia Highway 338 in Dublin. Look forward to doing business with you.
Badcock Home Furniture and More is your home store, where you'll find great savings on new living room sets, sofas, love seats, recliners, and more. Badcock Home Furniture and More has great savings every day on bedding and bedroom sets. Shop Badcock Home Furniture and More for a great selection of dining room sets, and save every day on electronics and appliances at Badcock Home Furniture and More, 1927 Highway 441 South in Dublin. Call 275-3144 for more information, or stop by and see Wendy and Tim Sumner or any of their friendly staff today at Badcock and More Home Furniture Store, where no credit is ever refused.
Welcome to the Coaches Show. I'm here with head coach and athletic director of Dublin High School, Roger Holmes. Coach, it's one of those shows that I don't like to have, but I do look forward to having it every year. Kind of a touch-up, polish-up, finish-up show, reflect back on the season. It is Thanksgiving week. We like to be playing football Thanksgiving week, but we're talking about it.
Yeah, well, you know, number one, I felt like our season was a solid season.
Absolutely.
You know, we tell our kids around here that to have a good season, you have to practice during Thanksgiving.
Right.
7-4 is an okay season. I'm not going to put it at good, but it certainly wasn't bad.
Absolutely.
You know, when we look around at how this season progressed, I think the first thing that we've got to look at is the number of changes that we've made in our program over the last year. You know, we talked about it when the season started. We graduated all of our offensive backfield with the exception of our quarterback, Jaquarius Evans.
And we wasn't sure who was going to play quarterback.
And then on the offensive line, we had 3 young men coming back, and Ramonte Doherty, Des Gilbert, Drew Rozier. And we also had Nasir Johnson coming back. Then we went through some coaching changes. We brought in 2 completely new to our system offensive line coaches in Keaton Wilson, Joel Ingram. We brought in a new wide receiver coach in Ronald Bonner. We had a new running back coach. Okay, and then Coach Riley moved over, and he took over the quarterbacks and fullbacks.
Formerly our running back coach, right?
So when you look at it, no one that was coaching our offensive side of the football were veterans in our system or in the position they coached, maybe other than Coach Riley. Then as we got into the season and we started noticing quite early that, you know, probably our best run threat at that point in the season was Jaquarius Evans. And we felt comfortable that Micah O'Neal could do what he needed to do in progressing as a quarterback.
Well, he's got a strong mind and a decent arm.
So we made that change, and that got off. You know, I think that was part of our issue in the Lamar County game, but no excuses there. But then, you know, we struggled a bit. We had to kind of try to make a decision. Is this the way we want to go, or do we want to leave KDO where he is and we roll with the choice of staying with Micah? I don't think there's any regrets.
Absolutely not.
In making that decision. We also inserted Brennan McLeod at center, who's also a sophomore. Ended up moving Nasir Johnson over to a tackle spot. That paid some dividends for us. I felt like that Brennan had a very solid sophomore year. It's going to be a little bit better for us next year.
You recognized him kind of early in practice. I think we called him Big Baby.
Oh, we call him Big Baby. You know, and that's affectionate now. That's
right. Absolutely. We love him to death, but
yeah.
You noticed some things in practice early with him moving along, and so I think you were able to do what you wanted to do.
I think a guy that made a lot of strides for us this year up front was Antonio Benjamin. Is one of those young men that kind of played a lot of different positions, and as it worked out, he basically won the job at tight end. Corn Rozier alternated with him, played a lot at tight end, but Corn was starting on the defensive side of the football, and that left Benjamin more of a fresh body.
Benjamin, I'll say, to me, he was kind of one of these unsung heroes on your team this year. Didn't get a lot of recognition, but for your tight end and the offense that you've run, you've got to have a really solid kid on that end blocking for you.
Well,
that's what I think about him.
Well, and I think he had a very solid year, and was excited for him to catch a couple of touchdown passes over at East Lawrence. Little pay for all that hard work up there, competing up front. I think the young man that kind of really came onto the scene this year is Damari Foster at fullback. Damari was our leading rusher. He was the leading yards per carry guy on our football team. Had a very, very, very solid year for us. When I look at, and I failed to mention Brad Wallace. He's the gentleman that was coaching our halfbacks for us.
Right. Yeah. New coaches, and it was kind of
in every position. And,
yeah, it's kind of hard.
And our
to get them
system
in here.
is not the easiest one to learn, but I can assure you that our coaching staff did a wonderful job every day of working with these young men, and we continue to get better as the season went on, and we think our young kids made a lot of improvements. When we jump over to the defensive side, we made a change in our defensive coordinator and looked around, but thought that we had the best answer right here on our staff. We were giving up 28, 30 points a game. And that's over the previous 3 years, and that's not what we're accustomed to.
Makes you got to score 35
to do, and so we ended up promoting Joe Stubbs to our defensive coordinator, and our point total this year went down somewhere to around 15 or 16 points a game. So he did a great job, but Scott Pagano came in and he coached our defensive ends, and Matt Starley, who has been phenomenal for us for a long time as a special teams coordinator and coaching our D tackles, and he probably had the toughest job on our team this year, maybe in what we lost off of the years previous, is trying to get the D tackle play in there where it needed to be, and you know, I felt like a young man that kind of came out of nowhere that gave us a lot of help in there at that defensive tackle was a senior that wasn't being counted on heavily, but John Calvin stepped in and toward the latter part of the season and started playing very well for us as a senior. And we've got you know, he's kind of the only one we're losing on the interior. Now, Coach Pagano will have his work cut out for him. When you graduate Ramonte Doherty and Des Gilbert, that's going to be two tough ones, certainly, to replace. And then, as I mentioned before, Coach Brad Wallace took over our linebacker play, and that's an area that has really not been up to par the last 2 or 3 years. And you could see the change in the attitude, the physicality, the tackling ability came a long way. You know, we've got all of those young men returning, with the exception of one senior who got a lot of reps for us there toward the end of the year in Isaiah Landers. He'd kind of been beat up and banged up. But Isaiah came back and had a very, very solid input to our defensive football team in the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season. And you know, he just did a remarkable job. But Xavier Bostic was our starting Mike linebacker as a sophomore.
Signal caller back
and
there.
You could see him making drastic improvements throughout the year. We mentioned Corin Rozier. He went down with a broken bone in his foot, but got back on the field the other night and played some reps for us, did a good job.
Didn't really want to play him, I know.
No, but, you know, we didn't want to in any situation where we didn't feel like that we really needed to. We were hoping we could find a way to win that game the other night and get him 1 week further along, but as it turned out, we needed him the other night, and it still wasn't enough. You know, then Malachi O'Neal, won a Warrior this year. You know, he's had a shoulder problem, he had a knee problem, never complained, just showed up, went to work every day and worked his tail off. Well, he's back. Damari Foster at linebacker's back. Xavier Bostic is back. Corin Rozier's back. So we play 3. We've got 4 returning with a lot of experience. I feel pretty good in that category. Then on the back end, where Fred Williams and Coach Stubbs coach those defensive backs, we're going to have our hands full. We really were limited this year in the skilled kid department, meaning the guys that play backs and receivers. We felt like we really only had 5 guys that were varsity ready football players in our secondary. Cam Hampton being number 5, that wasn't a starter but had to go in and play a great deal for us. But we're losing 2 top seniors back there in Trey Baldwin and Jaquarius Evans. Those 2 young men, kind of as they rolled, is kind of how our football team rolled, to be quite honest with you. They brought a lot to the table there. And
some of your vocal leaders back there, 19 and 7, you can see.
They had to make a lot of the adjustments and a lot of the calls. And so, you know, we're going to be having the tryout for next year's football team
next week.
Probably next week. Any young man, for example, in Dublin City Schools that didn't participate in football this year that want to try to come out, we'll give them as many of them as we can an opportunity, but that basically means they'll be in our weightlifting class in there with the rest of the football team. If you want to play, you got to pay. In other words, you got to put in the hard work.
But they all
to
do
earn
it.
your chicken. Oh yeah,
they all do.
So, you know, from that standpoint, I think you know we've got to really develop on the back end to have a chance next year. And a couple other seniors I didn't mention that played roles for us on special teams and did a lot of good things for us. That we're going to miss is number 4, Christian Harvey. Played some wide receiver and defensive back. And then number 52, Menelek Madison. Again, played on several of our special teams and was a backup at offensive guard. So, and I think 2 young men that made a lot of improvement as the year went on. They were kind of nip and tuck. And hopefully one of them will outwork the other one this winter and push each other to be the best they can be as our 2 place kickers. Both of those young men are returning next year, and hopefully they'll bring it a little bit deeper and a little more consistency this time next year.
Bo Baum and Connor Daniels.
Both those young men.
They both, at the end of the year, I could see them in practice working harder.
Yeah.
I could see them at the end of the year getting better. They're still, you got a 10th and 11th grader or whatnot.
Both those young men have a lot of potential. I think another year in the weight room, and they're going to have to do some things during the off season to continue to kind of, you know, you hit a plateau. Well, we got to get over that plateau, and I think we'll be able to get that done.
When it comes to buying or selling your home or property, you'll want to deal with the #1 realty company in Dublin and Lawrence County. Century 21 Dirt and Cornegay. Professionals like Brian Howell, Charlene Lapp, Adam White, David Eves, Jennifer Bradley, Jay Brantley, Jim Jarrett, Ruth Watson, Charlene Brantley, Rena Duverly, Yvonne Robertson, and broker George Durden. All standing ready to provide prompt, professional, and prudent service. Log on to c21dublin.com. Call 272-1535 or stop by 1700 Veterans Boulevard in Dublin. And put the #1 realty company in Dublin, Lawrence County to work for you.
Jeff Shepard here back in Roach Farm and Garden, where hunting season never ends. Need a new feeder? Roach Farm and Garden carries Boss, Buck, and Moultrie, Spin, and Gravity. Even got them that hold 600 pounds, and that's a lot of feed. Speaking of feed, Roach Farm and Garden carries 4S Draw, FRM, Wild Game Innovation, and even Antler Extreme. Whole kernel corn, corn on the cob, pick up your salt blocks, and even have trophy blocks. Don't forget, Roach Farm and Garden carries trapping supplies so you can take control of your property. It's right next to the 4S Draw. You need something to cook your game? Roach Farm and Garden has grills, griddles, fryers, and smokers. Roach Farm and Garden carries a full line of patio furniture, flags, wind chimes, and bird feeders. Don't leave out of here with some holy boots and shoes. We got a full line of Carhartt and Georgia boot. Come see us at Roach Farm and Garden, 2 locations, Wrightsville and Dublin.
It's that time of year when we come together to support our teams. And our team here at Dublin Chevy Buick GMC is here to support you.
Let's take a test drive.
Go, just get out there. Whether it's helping you with your next purchase or just servicing your current vehicle.
Good afternoon, Mr. Smith. We've got your Chevrolet ready, and enjoy your vacation.
North and south! There's a nip in the air, and the games have been played, and we're in mid-season form here at Dublin Chevrolet Buick GMC.
First Lawrence Bank invites you to experience banking at its best. Whether you have personal or business needs, we're a full-service bank big enough to handle all of your banking needs and small enough to provide you with that personal touch you've grown to expect from a community bank like First Lawrence Bank. Looking forward to your future. That's First Lawrence Bank in Dublin and Dexter, member FDIC.
Allen's Heating and Cooling is your licensed Amana equipment dealer. Trust Allen's Heating and Cooling to install and service your heating and cooling unit. Allen services all brands, and with the purchase of a new Amana, offers a lifetime compressor warranty. Call Sean Clark or any of his friendly staff at Allen's Heating and Cooling, your Amana dealer. Amana lasts and lasts and lasts.
Wayne Kemp's Dublin Auto Sales will put you in the driver's seat today. Come see our great selection of quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Our sales professionals are ready and waiting. Come see TJ, Trey, Alan, and Britt at Wayne Kemp's Dublin Auto Sales, where good deals and good people meet. Visit us at 606 East Jackson Street in Dublin. Call us at 275-2010 or log on to DublinAutoSalesGA.com. Wayne Kemp's Dublin Auto Sales will put you in the driver's seat today.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense.
Ask Curry Maffett Insurance in Dublin if Auto Owners make sense for you.
Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Somebody else that I think about when you were mentioning these guys that are hurt out there and having to go through reps and when they probably don't need to, and that is our trainer, Coach Melissa, and then her assistant, Patasol.
Oh, Mikey Patasol is
tops.
You know,
let's talk about him.
Well, he's one of the young men that I think he felt like that he wasn't cut out to be a football player, and that's he actually came in and told me that he said, Coach, I don't think I'm gonna play. He weighed about 150 pounds, and he wasn't a lineman. But right. He doesn't have the overall speed and that type thing to really compete to get on the field in one of those skill positions. And I said, well, Mike, how about considering being a manager for us? You know, there's a lot of things around here that you can do that'll help our football team and our program be better. And nobody does it with any more pride than Mikey does. He's phenomenal. You know, we even talked to him the other day about, there are a lot of young men that get athletic scholarship monies or whatever to go into the colleges and universities and serve a role like he does. And hopefully we can, when he gets to be a senior.
Sophomore now, right?
Can find some people that could use the services of him on the next level and help pay for his education.
Well, kids like that are a vital part of your organization.
No question.
No
question.
And I think, what they do needs to be commended. They're out here every day.
Oh, working his tails off, and then Coach Melissa, the sign of a good trainer is the one that can keep the players on the field, not the one that's taking them off. And she's been phenomenal at that. She's tough with our young men. She's
no doubt.
She's cognizant of their injuries and what effect it could have on them to be on the field and play. Cautious but aggressive. And
I've seen her out there when they get hurt, and I've seen them. They want to lay down, they want to sit down, and no, she's up. Walk it off. I mean, and she's not playing.
No, she does a phenomenal job, and hopefully we can keep Coach Melissa around in our program, and those type things. So
I looked at, we got 9 seniors, we got 60 football players thereabouts, so we got, it looks like you got 50 that could possibly come back, and then you got a bumper crop of
we're looking forward to getting some of the 8th graders over here.
Trav Bostic and some of his group coming up here. I mean, you got a pretty decent bumper crop coming up here, so
who knows?
Kids coming back.
Hopefully there's some young men in the hallways.
They're out there.
That will want to, be a part of what it takes to be a Dublin Irish football player. It's not easy.
It is absolutely not easy.
Winning's not easy. So
no.
If you're not, you got to be willing to pay the price in order to get the reward. And you never know. There's usually a player or two that transfers in, and unfortunately, there's usually a player or two that transfers out over the course of a year. We lost a couple of our young 9th grade running backs this year. One ended up out in the county, and one ended up in Crisp County. So we lost a couple of skilled kids out of our present ninth grade class.
So it gives you room for others to step in now.
That's it. Somebody just got to step up and take care of their business. But, you know, getting back to the ball game the other night, I've got to give the guys at Metter their credit. You know, and
they're a good team.
They're a very solid football team. I've never had a football team that's been shut out by the same team twice in a year, and I don't think I've ever had a football team that's been shut out by the same team 2 games in a row, whether it be the same year or not. You know, we felt like going in that we had a solid game plan, both offensively and defensively. The reality of it was we just were not physically capable of getting and maintaining the block from the offensive side of the football against Metter. Now, they're a very physically strong football team, and I'm hoping that that's what we can make up the most during this off season. Is a tremendous off-season strength and conditioning program.
Well, you lost all that back during your COVID period.
Well, we talked about that's an area that for whatever reason, that really affected our program, and that's something that we're having to address, and we are addressing it.
Do you see it coming back now?
Well, I think our kids handled the
off-season.
I think our players handled the in-season conditioning part very, very well. There's a lot of coaches that are enthusiastic in the weight room and pushing these young men, and they're working hard. But it'll be, the emphasis will get changed now when we come back because of, you don't need time to watch film. It's all about the strength and conditioning you can get done in the weight room, and we're tinkering with some things. We feel like that we've been lifting 4 days a week. Sometimes 5 days a week. People, when you say 4 days a week, people get off schedule with that, because when you jump into the second semester, you don't think a whole lot about it. But many of those weeks in the second semester, one of the days per week get interfered with. You have MLK Day.
Right.
You have a President's Day. You have spring break. You have a winter initial thing in there that you end up with a break. So what happens is multiple weeks only end up being 4 days.
Or 3 sometimes.
Sometimes 3. And so what we've looked at doing is we're looking at going to a 3-day lift cycle early in the winter campaign and using a couple of those days to work speed and agility, because we just do not believe right now that we have the team speed that we're looking for. And speed can be improved, especially your lateral quickness. And with a good strength and conditioning program, your straight ahead speed will improve also.
Well, that's what they've got camps and they got trainers that teach you this stuff. So, you're on to something. Obviously, it works.
Yeah, well, we're you constantly need to be evaluating what you're doing and every team is not cut from the same mold. We talk about it all the time, and yes, we run a wing T offense, but the style that team takes on that year has a whole lot to do with the parts that you have.
Well, every team's different, and I remember you saying, I don't know, third, fourth, fifth week during the season, you said, Nelson, this is really a good team. I enjoy this team.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying teaching these young men the game of football, and maybe it'll help them in life. And I heard you say enjoyed.
Yeah.
And a lot of coaches you don't hear that from. They're out there trying to install a game plan or, do their duty. But when a man comes in here and a coach comes in here and says that they really enjoy teaching them, and you can feel it, that's you had a good team.
Well, the testament, I think, needs to go to this senior class. The senior class this year, and we told them before we ever went on the field the other night, that it's been a pleasure going to work with them every day, because your senior class is what sets the tone for everyone else. You know, the coaches have a lot to do with it and how they inspire or work with that group of people. But the second side of that is, you've always had teams, you know, or that for whatever reason, it's like you could have hit them over the head with a stick or a hot poker and you couldn't get them to go, or, you know, they don't want to be in the weight room, and you can tell they're just going through the motions. For the most part, this group right here came to work every day, and whatever we asked them or told them that we needed to do in order to be successful, they made an honest attempt to do what we were asking.
Well, your team is gonna go and you're gonna work and they're gonna practice as the leaders do, you know, and that's generally the way it is. And yeah, we had a great group of senior leaders this year, you know, as we've been talking about with Desmond, Monte, and those guys, and they're going to be sorely missed. There's no doubt about that. But that's kind of what makes that group fun.
Yeah.
Let me be free. Let me be free. Let me be free.
There's a Can-Am waiting for you at Myers Equipment and Supply, 301 North Jefferson in Dublin.
Progressive Rural Telephone Co-op offers a full range of communication products and services to its members in Lawrence County and surrounding areas. We take pride in being your total communications provider, and we work hard to provide quality services at the best prices. In addition to offering phone service, we provide high-speed internet and digital high-def TV. And we always strive to put our members first. Progressive Rural, your total communications company. Small enough to know you, large enough to serve you. ProgressiveTel.com. Call 478-984-4201 or stop by 890 Simpson Avenue in Rents. Progressive Rural Telephone Co-op.
Matt Hatchett, your District 150 representative for Lawrence, Truitland, and Johnson counties, is proud to support our local high schools, our East Lawrence Falcons, Trinity Crusaders, the Dublin High Fighting Irish, the West Lawrence Raiders, the Truitland County Vikings, and the Johnson County Trojans. Matt Hatchett, your District 150 representatives. Go team!
From humble beginnings with a desire to serve the Dudley community, Bank of Dudley has grown to 5 locations, serving Lawrence, Twiggs, and surrounding counties. Serving our community since 1905, the Bank of Dudley is looking forward to its 2nd century of community banking. Drop in today to any of our 5 locations: Jeffersonville, Dudley, East Dublin, Veterans Boulevard, and downtown Dublin. Bank of Dudley, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender.
Hi, I'm Tom Domney, Dublin with Nelson Company. We're a full-service wholesaler specializing in plumbing, irrigation, and industrial products. We are committed to building long-term relationships with our customers by earning your business every day. With a staff that collectively offers more than 50 years of expertise, our team knows your industry. We're able to answer your questions and are ready to help you get the parts and equipment you need. At Dublin with Nelson, our goal is long-term success of your business. We achieve that goal with a simple commitment: doing things right, one customer at a time. Our showroom is complete with the latest styles and fixtures. Stop by and see us at 507 Airport Road, or give us a call at 478-272-3585. That's Dublin with Nelson.
North, south, east, or west, Friendly Gus is on your way today. Fuel up with Friendly Gus's delicious breakfast, made fresh every day. Your wallet and your belly will thank you. Friendly Gus has everything you need for football season.
Choose from our 20, 40, and 60-piece chicken finger and wing platters. And don't forget the tater logs. Friendly Gus is your one-stop shop for tailgating parties. Our food is always fresh and our service is always friendly. Friendly Gus, on your way today. Also shop Cochran Brothers Cash and Carry at 320 South Jefferson in Dublin for additional tailgate items like paper products, chicken wings, bulk drinks, spices, sauces, and more.
Now, I guess the next stages and where we are and what we've got to get done is, number one, is get our banquet set up. I reached out to our people today about ordering the patches and things for their jackets, and they're shut down for this week. They'll place the order on Monday and kind of give me an idea of when that order will be back. So we're not scheduling the banquet prior to those things being able to get back in here.
Late December, maybe.
The beauty that we're looking at right now is we don't have to go through rescheduling this year. Our schedule next year will be identical to this year, with the exception of what we were supposed to have had Charlton County at home this year. So they'll be at home next year. So actually, we'll have 7 home games next year and 3 road games. And that's kind of neat. To be able to host that many games.
I don't think we've ever had 7 home games.
No, not in a regular season.
No. So that's going to be big for the community, big for the fan base, and
I think it's something that you can get some continuity. So let's see, we've got to go to Swainsboro.
We ought to be able to sell a bunch of season tickets. Is what I'm saying.
We have to go to Jefferson County, and shucks, where else did we go? I can't remember right now.
Blackley here.
I was just thinking who we played at home this year. So where was ECI game this past year? It was over there. Was it here?
It was here.
All right, so we go to ECI, we go to Metter, or Jefferson County, ECI, Jefferson County, and Swainsboro.
We're going to have some really, really, really good home games.
There's no doubt about that. The next thing I think that I want to hit on right here is the job that you and your touchdown club have done this year. It's been phenomenal. I think everybody that's been a part of the touchdown club this year has tried to carry their weight. They've all been involved. They've all been at the meetings with some consistency, and I think
I agree.
That's deserving of mention, how well the Touchdown Club has supported this program and these young men through the course of this year.
Well, when you get 30 folks in a 30, 40, sometimes 50 folks in a room, it's not hard to get ideas thrown at you about how you need to raise money, different things you need to do, and I'll give a shout out to my team. I mean, I was just a small piece of the puzzle, but we had a lot of folks come in with good ideas. When we asked for fundraisers, we had several folks in this room that got out and
did their parts,
did their part and raised a lot of money for this football team this year. I was really, really ecstatic about what we did, and that gives.
It just comes back. It just comes back in the things
for the kids that we use money for.
That we're trying to get done, and those type things. And we've got some projects that are coming up within our program.
I know one of them
that are pretty hard to put together. Number one is it's about the time for us to start looking at having to purchase new uniforms, and I think the people out in the TV land probably wouldn't believe or understand that when we bought our last set of uniforms and they had the Nike swoosh on them and that type deal, that set of uniforms cost us $29,000, and that's not the top of the brand Nike uniform. That's the middle of the road.
We'll be looking at 40 next time.
The next thing that I want to push for and try to get done is it's time for us to remodel our weight room.
Right.
Our weight room now, I guess I got here in 02. By 04, It had been redone, and so it's been 18 years
we hadn't retooled
since we retooled our strength and conditioning area, and that is the lifeblood of your program. So, we want to look at upgrading in that facility because, you spend more time in there, quite frankly, than you do anywhere else.
Right.
And so that's what helps and promotes your young men and gets them to where they need to be. And
two really nice ventures that we can look forward to, asking the community to step up and help us out with.
Well, we've got to continue to do some things. And again, it's, I don't want to signal out just one individual, but I know everybody's well aware, but I want to say thank you again to, Big Ronald Pierce. And what he does with his grill. They don't call him the Grill King.
Tailgate King.
Tailgate King for no reason, but, and he's got some people out there that work with him every week when he does it. But
right.
He
Rico and his group, and he doesn't ask for anything either.
No.
We put a little tip jar out there for him, and folks will come by and put a little tip jar, but he spends a lot of his money.
Well, he and his wife and family and kids have all been a part of this program for a long time, and don't have any kids in the program right now.
No,
that's enough to be said. The time and energy and effort that he's put forth, I think, is huge. I don't want to forget, Q101.3 and their coverage of our games and the things that they've done. As
Joe
well
Powers
as
and Strick and Todd Gay, and
those guys. It means a lot for people to be able, if they can't make the game, to be able to hear the games on the radio, and of course, TV 35 and the job that they do is phenomenal, and it's great for our local community to have TV 35 and the access, because all these communities don't have what Dublin has with TV 35.
No, they don't, and it's awesome. It is. It's awesome. They put on a superior product.
Now, there's no doubt about it. That, my cameraman sitting over here behind us, he's always over here with a smile.
Well, he's part of it.
Is that right, Kevin? Yeah, he's got a little chuckle going on.
We got a little
right
group,
now.
and we broadcast the games for TV 35, and I was able to, 5-6 years ago, step in for Stan Smith to help start doing this, and we got a little bond, me and Crather Nelson, and our cameraman out here, and we have good times on Friday nights too.
Well, I'm just glad I'm not able to keep up with what y'all are doing, but I know it's a great job. That's for sure.
There's a lot of folks to thank. It's it's that season, and there are a lot of folks to thank, and I'll thank Vashon McBride, my vice president, and Lisa Daniel, our secretary treasurer. Basically, she pretty much helped run that show for us this year, and she was an invaluable part of our touchdown club this year. That cannot go without being said.
Yeah, we'll get the word out about the banquet and all that stuff when it's coming up, but as we're getting kind of ready to close, I want to go through these seniors list one more time, if that's
Absolutely.
Okay.
Please, let's call them out.
All right,
I wrote them down too.
Yeah, number 4, senior Christian Harvey. Number 7, senior Jaquarius Evans. Number 19, senior Trey Baldwin. Number 30, senior Antonio Benjamin. Number 41, senior Isaiah Landers. Number 51, senior Ramonte Doherty. Number 52, senior Menelik Madison. Number 60, senior Desmond Gilbert. Number 63, senior John Calvin. Gentlemen, thank you for all that you did to help Dublin football make it to where it did this year. We're going to miss every one of you, and God bless every one of you.
Coach, it's been a great year. Enjoyed the shows. We'll be back next year with a coach's show on TV 35.
My name is Phil Patel. I am one of the part owners here and the general manager here at the Hampton Inn & Suites. first time when I got introduced to Morris Bank, the people were so friendly and helpful. You feel like that you are appreciated there. At Morris Bank, everybody down at the bank is so friendly, and not just to myself, they're just friendly to everybody. They want us to succeed because our success is their success at the same time. That makes a lot of difference, and they're always there for us.
At Georgia First Bank, we understand that experience is everything, and we promise to get it right the first time, every time. Georgia First Bank, now in Dublin. Georgia First Bank, member FDIC and an equal housing lender. Folks all over are finding out why more and more people do business with Hometown Supply.
We offer new and used appliances, both gas and electric. Competitive prices on electronics and computers, including cell phones, laptops, and tablets.
Check out Hometown Supply for a great selection of heaters, including sales and service of kerosene heaters. Lay away now for Christmas and choose from toys, golf carts, ATVs, bicycles, and electric bikes, all that are sure to please.
Just remember, if you can't do business here, you just can't do business.
Hi, I'm Brandy, and I would like to invite you to experience our newly renovated mammography suite at the Fairview Park Hospital Breast Center. Our breast center has its own dedicated entrance with a relaxing boutique-like waiting area. You can make your appointment online anytime at fairviewparkhospital.com or by calling 478-274-3919. Most appointments take 30 minutes or less, and we will have your results back to your doctor within 24 hours.
F. Lake and the staff at Lakes Alignment has been serving Lawrence and surrounding counties since 1954, offering you the best in suspension, alignment, and tire services. And now Elp and Lisa Lake are proud to announce the addition of Neil Harden and our 24-hour truck, trailer, and tire repair facility with state-of-the-art equipment. Lake's Tire Facility is conveniently located to I-16 and all roads throughout Middle Georgia. Call on us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for truck, trailer, and tire repair. Call 272-4230, serving the Southeast for over 65 years. Lakes Alignment, and now 24-hour truck, trailer, and tire repair.
Looking for a career that's always in demand? How about one that provides you with practical and useful skills? A career that allows you to earn hands-on experience and an education with little to no debt? Oconee Fall Line Technical College prepares students with the right set of skills to succeed in fast-growing careers in healthcare, manufacturing, business, and technology fields. If you're ready to gain the experience you need to start your career locally, OFTC is where it all begins. Oconee Fall Line Technical College. Careers begin here.